everyone, and welcome to Beauty in the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of plastic surgery. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, as well as consultant to plastic surgeons to get them more patients and more profits. Now, today's special guest is Dr. Jason Bloom. He's a board-certified facial plastic and reconstructive surgeon in private practice in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. Now, he focuses on facial rejuvenation, rhinoplasty, non-surgical treatments, as well as hair restoration. Now, Dr. Bloom attended the University of Michigan Medical School and then completed his residency in otorhinolaryngology, head and neck surgery at the University of Pennsylvania. He also then did a fellowship program at the New York University Langone Medical Center. Now, Dr. Bloom has authored more than 40 journal articles and book chapters and speaks at medical conferences all over the world. He continues to teach residents, sits on medical advisory boards, and performs research studies as well as clinical trials. Dr. Bloom, welcome to Beauty in the Biz.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to see you and to be on this.
Thanks so much. So I always like to start with what was your journey to private practice? Because it's never a straight shot, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of had a little bit of a roundabout way to my own private practice. So when I was doing my fellowship at NYU in 2009, 2010, I came out of my fellowship and I actually joined a dermatologist in the Philadelphia suburban area, which is actually where I am now. But I joined his practice and he did only non-ablative lasers, but was a very big name in the space. And he used to joke that I did everything in the office that caused blood or smoke. So I did all of the ablative lasers, all the injectables, and all the surgery. And we are still friends. It worked well. I was with him for 8 years. But what happened was after, I was a surgeon, facial plastic surgeon in a dermatology office, and he was a cosmetic derm. He never took any kind of insurance or anything like that. But my surgical practice just began to get so busy that it was hard to run a facial plastics practice out of a derm practice just because, and even from a support standpoint. So whether it was surgical coordinators or booking things and seeing patients in follow-up, they weren't equipped in their office to do that. And so, I actually found a dermatologist to come in and work for him, and we separated very amicably. And I opened up my own practice, a strictly facial plastic and reconstructive surgery practice in the Bryn Mawr area, not far away. And that was about 3.5 years ago. I have since brought on some nurse injectors. I have a junior partner who works with me. She is a facial plastic surgeon, and it's been great ever since. So that's it's onwards and upwards at this point.
Nice. Let's talk about the location you chose. It looks like you're kind of in a strip mall kind of retail area.
Yeah.
I love the thought of that. What are the pros and cons of that? Because it looks like you're on the ground floor as well. You have your own building, you have your own big name on that center versus being in a hospital on the 5th floor. So how did you choose that?
I love having first floor access. It is so nice. Patients walk in. I mean, we have tons of parking. Patients walk in right from the parking lot. They see our name, they see our sign. And and there's actually a lot of kind of, let's say, aesthetic traffic and influence in the area. My neighbors in our kind of in our shopping area are a very busy salon, a very busy nail salon, and then across the street an aesthetic orthodontics. There's a dentist's office. There's a lot of kind of people who are interested in aesthetics all kind of funneling in the same area. And so when maybe they're coming in to get their hair done or their nails done, and they see Bloom Facial Plastics, they see it's, oh, what's going on there? Not like we're accepting like walk-ins, but it does kind of like it's great in that we get that kind of cross traffic, and people, it becomes kind of front of mind when they see our name on the building.
I love that idea. I think you picked the right location, though, and the right clientele and the right high-end neighborhood, because I've watched others do it, but then they're like next to Chipotle or TJ Maxx or something, and it doesn't have the same feel to it. So I love your location. I think it's great. Do people ever come in and just walk by and say, I just saw you?
We see people like walking by, and also we see our patients that are coming in, for example, like patients who we've operated on or stuff. This is a very busy hair salon, very busy nail salon. And we also work with some of these, with these companies and do kind of co-op marketing in terms of like the orthodontics. We have their cards and their brochures in our office, and they're offering $500 off Invisalign. And for example, if they send a patient for a lip lift or lip injections, then, because they saw, our pamphlet in their office, we give them a discount. So any of the local businesses that are kind of in our direct area, we like to do kind of marketing things on. I remember when some of the injectables were doing, it was a new indication for like hand filler. And with the nail salon, we, any new patient that they saw, that they had our brochures at the nail salon, any patient that they referred got $50 off hand filler, because they were coming in and getting their nails done, and they say, oh, you know what, my hands are looking a little bit kind of deflated, or I can see the veins. That was a new patient they were sending us. You surely know how important it is to get patient referrals and how much those patients are worth. Certainly doctors pay for patient leads. This is more than, I'm more than happy to give $50 off treatment to come in my office when it was sent from them.
It's a lot cheaper than finding an internet stranger patient, that's for sure. And they're much more likely to convert. So I think that's a great idea. One idea that I will tell you, somebody else, we both know this facial plastic surgeon, but they're not in your area though, but they do the tchotchkes, they do the lip gloss and the pens, and they just hand it to all the salons and just say, here you go. And so because a lot of times these are great alliances, they just don't work out because you have to nurture these relationships, and they're busy with their own practice, your business, trying to figure out yours isn't on their priority list. So I love to come up with, what else can we do where nobody else is involved? Like humans aren't involved, other than there's a big bowl with your name, with your name in it, and they can just take freebies out of it. So it's a thought.
Yeah. And actually we kind of encourage all of these kind of local businesses. We see a lot of their employees as well for treatments and things, and we offer them steep discounts in order to come into our practice, so that they see certainly more patients getting their hair done or their nails done than we can, handle in a day. So if they're sending people and they said, hey, listen, we went to Bloom Facial Plastic Surgery and I got some toxin and some filler, and they're recommending us, that's huge. So we offer discounts to their employees, and, not to send us people, but, if they're happy, then they will send us people. We're not, so it's been a great kind of back and forth that we've had.
Yeah. Have you ever done one of those parking lot tent events, where you all get together and you all invite your own patients, and then everyone, have you ever done so? It's a big deal though, to put that together.
We did actually. We usually, so every year when we celebrate our anniversary, which is in September of our practice, we do kind of get a tent. I have like a taco truck come. I have the Mr. Frosty, Mr. Softy truck comes, and then we invite everyone to come out and just kind of like get free ice cream, get some tacos, enjoy themselves. And then also when the orthodontist across the parking lot, who is a good friend of ours, when they moved into the space, we kind of had a welcome to the neighborhood party, same kind of idea.
Yeah. a million years ago when I got into this, I lived in San Francisco and I was a marketing consultant, and I would get plastic surgeons gigs at alliances. So they would give talks at high-end boutiques, hair salons, all of that stuff. And it worked great. It was a lot of work though to coordinate the darn thing. But the point was, we had a patient list. They had a patient list. We needed to get in front of their patients. So the doctor would pay for the marketing. And in those days, we would send out postcards. Like, they were really fun, big postcards, eye-catching, and they work very well in today's world. I don't know, I wouldn't do that. But so the surgeon, it cost him maybe $1,000. Like, we had refreshments and the postcard mailing, no big deal. And we got in front of all of their patients or clients. And that's how, that worked like a charm for many years.
That's fantastic. I mean, yeah, who wouldn't love to get access to, more patients, get in front of them, have people see you, meet you. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Well, especially when they're almost referred, like their credibility. We got rid of the trust problem because there was already so much credibility built into it. So when the surgeon showed up, it didn't feel like a sales thing. It felt like an educational event. And everyone was so comfortable. And those work so well that you could still do it in today's world. You would just have to tweak it. The marketing channels are different and the trust level is so different now. Like, that's why I like going with who already knows somebody that you could know that they could introduce you to. It just makes your life so much easier when those patients who show up with you, like, who are you? Like, who are you? You don't want to do that all day. You want the patient who says, oh my God, you are so funny on Instagram, or I love your family. Isn't that fantastic? Like, is that what happens a lot for you? They show up saying, I feel like I know you.
Patients feel like, well, yes, because my Instagram is very unique. My Instagram, I actually, as crazy as this sounds, I do it all myself. No. So I have one account which has almost 18,000 followers, and
that one.
But that's the account it's uniquely me. It has my crazy sneaker collection of Air Jordans. I put my kids on it. I put my
your trip to Israel.
My trips, my vacations, as well as my before and afters for patients and things going on in our office. We also have a separate bloom.facial.plastics.
I'll check that out.
And that's like my office one. And we do have someone, I'm kind of like monitoring it, but we do have someone doing that because it's hard to do both. But I worry is that if someone did take over my own account, the DRJ Bloom account, it's just like it loses that authenticity. I feel like there's something that people know it's me because it's like kind of this self-deprecating, funny guy out there, like putting these things up. And I think to kind of pass that off, I think would lose a little bit of that. It hasn't gotten too overwhelming. It certainly is hard to do.
How much time is it taking you per week? How many hours do you think?
I mean, oh gosh. I would probably say 10 hours a week I spend on this. And so it does. It takes a lot of time, but in the end, I kind of enjoy doing it. I like interacting with everyone on it. And they get a real sense of me and my personality. And actually, just this past week, I posted something about the top 9, posts from 2022 from last year. And when you look at the posts, the vast majority, like 7 of the 9 posts, were more about lifestyle things and my family and my sneakers and things. And maybe 1 or 2 were about surgery and my surgical results. And it just shows you that like what people respond to the most are they want to see that kind of more personal side rather than strictly before and afters. And it just makes you step back because I'm like, oh, people want to see my facelift results and they want to see my rhinoplasty results. But like the people have spoken, it's like it shows that they really want to see you from a more personal side. It's just interesting.
I think you need both, though. I think you've got to keep showing the social proof of, you're doing a good job of that. The before and after photos, patient testimonials, patient videos are amazing if you can get them. like you interviewing the patient afterwards or doing the nose reveal, or the patients love that kind of stuff. But it's so true. Nowadays, what's the first thing we do? We Google somebody, or we just Google anything, and then we see someone's name. We don't go to your website. We go straight to Instagram. And people, and like a lot of these surgeons are fighting it. And I used to fight it too. I thought, this is silly. What a waste of my time. But for a surgeon, it's not. For B2C, it's brilliant. For B2B, it's not as important, but I still have to be there too. Everyone does. We all have to be on social media. And if you're not, you're definitely missing out on a whole group. And you can't say it's just for the little kids. We're all on it now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have been kind of selective in terms of my social media outlets. Like, I'm not on TikTok, and but some of my friends who are facial plastic surgeons have done extremely well on that. But I am on Instagram. That's kind of like my biggest platform. Interestingly, I have a website. I love my website. I think they did a fantastic job with it. But when people come in and are like talking about before and afters, and they want to see before and afters, I don't even like, I haven't I need to be better about updating my website and sending, but I update my Instagram so much more frequently. And sometimes I'm just sitting in a consult with a patient and they want to see before and afters. And we just like scroll through the Instagram and I'm saying like, ooh, see this? This is very similar to your case. This is what I would do in this case. And we can look through all the pictures and then they can go. And I'm like, you can please feel free to refer back to it. I put everything up there, all the different views, and they feel good about it.
How are you getting so many before and after photo approvals? Because so many surgeons still say, my patients are private. The minute they say that, I know it's not the patient. It's not. It's the surgeon's belief that's true. It's not true anymore. I mean, how are you doing it?
A couple ways. So first of all, doing a lot of surgery. So when you do a lot of surgery, if 1 out of 10 says yes, then that's great. And so yes, I operate 3 days a week, 8 hours a day, and I do a lot of surgery. So my N, the number of before and afters I can pick from, is larger, right? And then the one thing that I always do is I ask personally. Yep. Like, I'm the one asking.
The secret.
And I said, listen, you look great. I'm happy that you're happy. And sometimes, they'll say, they'll tell me, and sometimes they're like, yes, you can post it. I'm happy to do that. We have them sign photo, video consent. And sometimes they say, you know what? I don't want to be on your Instagram or your social media, but if a patient comes in the office, you can show them. And so, I'm grateful that patients even let me, show other patients. But I think that personal ask, rather than having a staff member do it, is really, patients know that you care and like that this means a lot to you.
Yep. Actually, a lot of them are flattered that you want to use their photos. So you asking makes all the difference in the world. And it's still a numbers game. Even if only 3 out of 10 said yes, that adds up so quickly. Totally. And you know what I would do? Get anything you can. If they say, you know what, I'm happy to have you show them in the office, get an iPad for that group, and put them all on there. And while that patient's sitting around, a cosmetic patient is stewing a lot during this journey. Give them that iPad and keep them in front of all those photos.
Yeah. Certainly. I mean, the other thing is I've had this too, and this kind of has happened with like the younger generation getting rhinoplasty and things like that. And two things. Number one, some of the younger people consider it like a badge of honor. They've said, "Well, why am I not on your Instagram yet?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know you wanted to be." And so those kind of people are great because they actually are excited to put it out there. And some kind of want the content. And what I mean by that is I've done some influencer surgery before, and they want to put their reveal videos out there. And I never ask but they're like, oh, I want to some ask, will you film footage in the OR, or you do this? And I'm happy to do that for them, but I always let them make the first kind of move and say, oh, I want to put this out there. I'm going to post my reveal video. I'm going to post my experience. And then I say, would you mind if I use those photos, or can I share your video? And they like want the content for their own like outlets.
So how does that process start? There are some influencers who literally have a PR group who call you and say, do you want to do a deal?
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
In being in practice for 13 years, I have had, so I did somebody's nose probably about 5 years ago now. And it was originally started through a direct message, and she direct messaged me. Unfortunately, I had no idea who this person was. It's like a young influencer with millions of followers on YouTube. And so she's like, oh, can I come in for a consult? I'm interested in a rhinoplasty. And I said, sure, call the office, make an appointment. And she's like, well, I don't necessarily live in your area, but I might be in this area. She grew up kind of close. And can I come in on the weekend? And then I looked at her Instagram file and I was like, okay, I might want to see this person on the weekend. And I actually came in on the weekend. I saw her, especially with her mother. And she loved, and I said, this is what it is, the whole thing. And she called up Monday, booked surgery. And I didn't say anything about it.
She didn't ask for any favors?
Nope. Until 2 weeks prior, she said, you know what? I think my followers would like to see this. Can we film some stuff in the operating room? And I said, yeah. And actually, I didn't ask for anything, and she didn't ask for anything. And I am not a fan of giving discounts or free surgery in exchange for this stuff. Like, I understand now, knowing, and when she posted her reveal video, okay, which was 1 week after her surgery, she posted it at 6 p.m. By 6 a.m. the next day, it was seen already by 1.5 million people. And it was like, it blew up. And I realize now the power of this. But I've also seen the other. I've seen people come into my office, literally a girl who's 18 comes into my office with her mother and said to me, I'm a social media influencer. And I said, hi, I'm Jason Bloom. Nice to meet you. And we go through the consult. She was also interested in a rhinoplasty. And at the end, we give her the price for surgery. She looks at it, looks at her mom, looks at the price, stands up and walks out. And then I was like, okay, well, that's what it is. I don't owe you anything other than a good result in surgery, and you don't owe me anything. And this girl's mom called back like 2 weeks later, and she called my office manager, surgical coordinator, and said, yeah, she's doing a bunch of things. I think Dr. Bloom really should, the word they use is collaborate.
Okay.
Dr. Bloom really should collaborate with her. And my surgical coordinator comes in and she's like, what should we do? I said, you know what you should do? Send her the quote for surgery again and tell her these are the dates we have available. And she did that. 2 weeks later, she booked surgery.
Oh,
and
nice.
Guess what? I didn't offer her anything. She didn't. And if this is a private thing, surgery, I'm not going to post anything. And you know what? Afterwards, she posted it all because she was interested in using the content on her own pages. And then actually I asked her, would you mind if I shared this? So it's all happened organically. But I feel like I don't want to be responsible or contractually obligated for anything. And I certainly don't owe them anything and I don't want them to owe me anything other than a good result. That's what I owe them, is I want to get them the best result possible. I have seen friends of mine have 4-page contracts with, you must mention these things and you must use these hashtags and
And
in
this number
exchange
of
for
homes.
surgery and in exchange for procedures. And it's just not me. Never
So the
have
girl,
been.
so
Never will be.
the girl who blew up your account, the one that, with the 1 million followers, did she come back and want anything from you?
Never. She never
Really?
has. She's had multiple surgeries with other people too. And she still she's posted she regrets some of her other surgeries, and she said she never regrets her rhinoplasty. It was always great. She has over 10 million followers on YouTube and about 4.5 or 5 million followers on Instagram.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And if you, I mean, and you can look at my Instagram and stuff, and you can find her. She's on there. But like,
Hmm.
she still texts me all the time, says, I love my nose. It's like my 5-year nose anniversary, you know?
Oh, that's so cute. But you have a challenge though, because of what you're doing. You've got the young rhinos, the older facelifts, then you have the men hair transplant. How are you marketing to three very different groups?
Yeah. I mean, certainly, I think, well, Instagram and social media has been hugely popular with the younger generation. Obviously, this is the 17 to 20-year-old rhinoplasty patients. Additionally, my name is very good in the area. I mean, I would say even better than my Instagram is the word of mouth that I get and referrals from. I'll tell you one other, my biggest area of marketing that has kind of grown my practice over the past 13 years. But yeah, men are hard because men aren't necessarily on Instagram and following this. So I have, treated friends of mine with hair transplants, and I have a hair care company called Therapy Hair Care.
Oh, good for you.
And so, treated my friends, and they refer other friends. And then kind of surgery, facial rejuvenation surgery, where I used to see the majority of patients in their late 50s to late 60s. Now the vast majority of my patients getting facial rejuvenation surgery, and that's like face, neck lifts, and some eyelid work, is in their early 50s.
Yeah.
So I think over the past 5 years, it's kind of slid up at least 5 years in terms of the age.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still very savvy with social media and Facebook, and so they do see me on there. I do some news pretty frequently, so they see me on TV once in a while. But I would say my greatest marketing over the past 13 years has been the word of mouth. And because that's hard to do, as you know, those are the best patients, but the hardest to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am and this is like a little bit of my secret, and what I've done is I've been a trainer for Allergan and Galderma and Revance, and I work with all these companies.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, the dermatologist, that was kind of how we opened, was that, I was with him for 8 years, and he used to say, why are you training these nurses, and why are you training these dermatologists? They're your competition.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've done over the past 13 years is I only train derms. I only train PAs. I only train nurses. No plastic surgeons and no one who works for a plastic surgeon. And you know what? I'm a good guy. I go in there, show them exactly what I do. I train them. I train tons. I love training local regionally. I love training dermatologists and these big med spas. And you know what? When they have a patient, because they see, like, I mean, I've become friends with all of these people. And when they have a patient who needs their facelift, like,
They think
who
of
do you
you.
think they're going to send it to? Are they going to send it to someone who they've never had any relationship with, you know what, they've never seen their before and afters? They're like, you know what they say? Why don't you go see Dr. Bloom? Whether they book with me or not that's then my issue, right? But they say, why don't you book a consult to see Dr. Bloom? He does good work. I see him on Instagram. He's come here. He was nice. He showed us, like, you might like him. And so I get more referrals from my friends who are dermatologists and nurses and injectors and PAs in my local community than anyone else. That is my number one source of marketing for the past 13 years. And I continue to do it. And not for the money I get from Galderma or Allergan or Revance to do the training. That is pennies compared to the amount of referrals and networking that I do at each of these events.
Yeah. Are the vendors, though, are they helpful with PR? Because I used to tell people, the best thing to do with big pharma money, because there's a lot of pharma money there, hang out with their PR department. They can get you a lot of, or have they not? Or
yeah, I mean, I've done I've done national PR stuff with some of the companies, and yeah, it's a lot of work sometimes for, very little benefit. And for me, I did years ago, I did like a town and country event with Allergan, and we were up on the stage and doing this, and they put it in Town and Country magazine, and it was on their website and like a bunch of different things. And like, to me, honestly, when I look back at it, I would rather do an event with one of my friends who owns a big med spa, who has 9 nurse injectors and sends me more people, than doing a national event with one of these companies through their PR department, because it's just patience. The patience that I get, one patient coming in from California to have their nose done versus 20 that I'm sent over the course of the next couple months from the other. I just don't think it has the same. I would much rather local regional things with people I trust and care about, rather than a big national event that involves time and energy. And I just don't see the same, reward on the backside. And my reward is surgical patient referrals. That's what I want to see.
So you're doing only surgery, but you've got a lot of other revenue generators in your office. So how are you set up staff-wise?
So great question. I built a lot of what I do based on injectables, and I've converted a lot of them to surgery over the course of the next couple of years. When I opened my office 3.5 years ago, I brought on a nurse injector who I have since trained in to do what I do, and she is now a trainer for Galderma. For the last 2 years, I'm no longer taking new patients for injectables because I'm busy enough, and I'm trying, and I tell them, listen, they can see what I did when I'm talking about go see my nurse injector. She's great. She injects me. I was like, she sees exactly what I did at last appointment. Some people still want me to do their toxin even. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Happy to do that. But I want to encourage my nurse injector. I just hired another nurse injector to come out part-time. And then one of our estheticians was in nursing school, and she has now finished nursing school. So she'll be slowly learning to inject over the course. So we should have my partner who injects, and she's a facial plastic surgeon, and she's still about 65% surgery and about 35% injectables. We have my full-time nurse injector, and then potentially 2 newer injectors who I want them doing the majority of the non-invasive aesthetic work.
So you believe in surgical versus non-surgical, keeping it all under one roof, right?
Totally. And and it's certainly easier to get in to see one of my injectors than it is for me. I only am in the office itself 2 days a week because I'm operating Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I'm just only in the office 2 days.
Yeah.
So to get a patient, you can't tell a patient that comes in today that the next time they can see me is in September, or in October. It's just they're gone. So you need to offer them options, or else see they're not and not just options, but options who you trust, and options who you've trained.
Mhm.
Both of the new nurse injectors one of them, again, new to my practice, she's been a nurse injector for 10 years, and one who is newer, both of them, I want them to learn how I do it.
Yes.
So they're shadowing for one is shadowing for about 6 months, and she's coming in on days she's not even working, coming into the rooms with me, with my nurse injector, with my partner, seeing how we do it, making the diagnosis and saying, okay, we're going to use this product here. Why? And I always ask, that's my favorite question. Why? Why are you using that product? Why are you using that amount? Why are you going there? Why are you starting there? Why are you using a cannula? Why are you using a needle? Because it doesn't matter necessarily, as long as you have a reasoning for doing these things. I want them to develop their own why. And it could be like, I'm doing this because you did it, and I think that makes sense to me. But I want it to kind of click and make sense to them if they're going to be doing it.
And it's so important that you're both on the same page on that. There have been practices who have hired nurse injectors, and 2 weeks in, they realize this injector overfills every time, and it's because they came from a commission-based position, and it didn't match with this practice at all. They were all about natural results, and they looked like Looney Bird people going out of there with the filler, and they had to stop it immediately because it was hurting their brand, it was hurting their relationships.
Catherine, if you knew how long it took me to hire one nurse injector and then a new person coming in, there's a lot of a lot out there, let's say. And I am extremely conservative and totally non-confrontational. And I just want patients to be happy. And that has to go a lot with my philosophy. I certainly do take before and afters for surgery, but I don't take pictures for injectables, and I can explain why. But I just wanted someone to, first of all, I wasn't inviting someone into my practice unless I saw consistently that they were producing natural looking results. And as crazy as this sounds, they couldn't look crazy. Because we all see those people who maybe they're great injectors, but they look a little bit strange because they're overfilled or they're doing too much. And I just want someone who is going to look natural, do natural results, because that's what I'm trying to convey. And, patients ask sometimes, they say, oh, where did you get that? In a good thing, it's like, wow, where'd you get that? That looks good. And then there's also, where did you get that? That looks a little crazy. I don't want to go there. So I never want that latter situation. So yeah. And by having them see what we do, I think it kind of reinforces that kind of, this is what we do. It's a natural result. That's what I'm looking to put forth.
Yeah. Have you had any staff issues like everybody else, or how's that going?
You mean like staffing in general?
Just hiring people. Yeah.
Yeah. Fortunately, I've never had someone leave my practice other than she was Canadian, and her visa was up, so she had to go back to Canada. One went to medical school, one went to PA school. So those were the only 3 people that have ever left my practice. And for bigger and better things, I would never hold somebody back. Interestingly, the PA is graduating PA school in June, and I hope to have her back in my office as a surgical PA. I want her assisting in the operating room and doing pre and post-op surgical stuff. So hopefully she'll join our practice back.
So what's your secret to hiring and keeping them?
Taking good care of your employees, being a good person. Like it's every day we're there, I buy lunch for the office, and just like keeping it light, and we just have a good dynamic. And when you hire someone, you really, and this is what I say, and like I'm like, when I'm hiring, even for the front desk, I'm like, I just need to make sure that you vibe with our office before I hire you. And it's just, we have such a positive, good vibe in our office. Like, I've been super lucky over the past 3.5 years. It's literally like a family. I'm with these people. I'm as much as my family members, right? I'm in the office, I'm in the operating room. And so kind of creating that family type environment. And it sounds kind of hokey, but it really isn't. Like that's the kind of vibe we have there. And you got to kind of, I just respect every one of my employees. They respect me. They know they can call me about any situation, talk to me personally about any situation at any time of the day or night.
Well, good for you, because it kind of starts at the top. So you're doing something right there. So kudos. I saw on Instagram, I think you had a patient who was like a septo, and and now 2 years later, what's that? What's her story?
Yeah, I mean, she worked as a medical assistant for a dermatology practice, and again, she was referred to me through that dermatology practice, and I did her nose, and just like in our doctor-patient relationship, as she was really happy, I kind of found out she was not as happy where she currently was. And we were looking for medical assistants and esthetician, and she's both. And I brought her into our practice, and she's been fantastic. And she's been our medical assistant ever since. And she is also an esthetician and moving into some esthetician roles as well.
But has she been a good referral source, or at least a good walking, talking testimonial for the patients visiting?
Totally. I mean, she's rooming patients, and she'll sense maybe like a patient who's like nervous, and they're coming in for a consult, and she's like, you know what, you're going to be great. Dr. Bloom did my nose. And again, she looks natural. She looks good. She doesn't look crazy. And so that kind of reinforces our brand and what we do. And what better to have someone in our office? I've done surgery on another front desk person. I did her nose. I've done different kind of procedures like face tighten things on some of our estheticians. So I love treating some of our office people because they trust. It shows trust. It shows that the results are natural, and they're kind of walking, talking advertisements for all this stuff.
I always say it's an investment. All of you who think, what, I'm not paying for that, you're missing the whole point. There's nothing better to a cosmetic patient that walks in and says, oh, I don't know, should I do this? Shouldn't I? Well, I had it done, and I can tell you my story. Really? Let me see, like, where are your scars? What's going on? Like, how was it? Nothing better. I can't imagine any better investment than having those walking, talking testimonials. It's good PR. It's also good team building. And some of the surgeons have like all those rules about it. I think that's what happens when you come into it with that fear of, you're going to screw me. You're going to get surgery and walk away. And then you have them sign all these documents. I think that's where it gets crunchy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no I mean, obviously they get a discount. They still pay for surgery.
Right.
They get discounted surgery, and they have to be with our practice for at least a year prior to getting surgery, with the exception of someone who had surgery and then I bring into our practice. And those are just, but that's from a surgical standpoint. But certainly I encourage every one of our staff, get toxins, get fillers, get lasers. You can talk about it. Get as much as you want. I never charge them for it. There's only 2 things that they have to do. Number 1, you do it after hours.
Yeah.
You ask our nurse injector, you ask me, I'll stay late, come in early. We're happy to do it, but not in the crazy flow of our office day. And the second thing is, if all these companies offer free product for the staff. And I say, get it in advance. You want your lips done? Get the syringe in advance. We'll do it. Done. Never charge you. You can do it, whenever you are ready to do it. So those are my two requests.
Yeah, it's all good. All of that is good. It's free for you. It takes a little of your time. It makes the staff so happy. And actually, when I write ads for practices, one of the perks I write is cosmetic treatments, because that's why we want to be in this industry. We want stuff done.
Exactly.
What would you say is like the biggest challenge of running your own solo practice?
Oh gosh, the biggest challenge, I'm not the greatest business person, and I've had to learn a lot.
How'd you learn it?
I have some fantastic mentors in the business sense. Edwin Williams is
incredible.
A dear friend and one of my best business mentors. And I didn't do his fellowship, but I feel like I did his business fellowship and learning so much from him and calling him. And I've been on his podcast, and we talked about how kind of stuff that we talk about. So I consider him a huge mentor of mine, and kind of getting a small group of people who you really trust around you, who are smart, and an accountant, a financial advisor, and people who you trust to kind of help you. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, this is my first time doing it. I need your help in doing that. And then, and we kind of starting out, I did everything everything myself. And then I had, my office manager, and she was my surgical coordinator and office manager. And then we hired a surgical coordinator to kind of allow her to do more of the nuts and bolts of the business kind of stuff and more of the HR stuff. Mm-hmm. And then my surgical coordinator can focus more on the patients and the booking surgeries and the scheduling surgeries and getting patients ready for surgery. So as we grew, as we kind of grew into our practice and felt more comfortable with what we were doing, we added staff to offload some of the responsibilities, where at the beginning we were doing everything. Mm-hmm. And it, to pay someone to do that, we're lucky that we do well as a practice. And, I pay people to make my life easier and to make my office manager's life easier, so that she can focus on things that are important to the business and not kind of be bogged down with other things. But I remember, just, going back to what we kind of opened this with was when I was at the derm office and I wanted to book a surgery, guess who was doing that?
You were.
Right? I was calling the operating room. I was writing the pre-op scripts. I was meeting with the patients pre-op. I was taking all the pictures. I was making sure that they got their EKGs. I was doing all of that. And I was killing myself, literally. And I didn't have the support. And that was one of the things why now my life is easier, because I have someone to help out with that. But these are newer things. As the practice grows, you get people to help with these kind of things, and it's all growing pains. But you can't be, I would say, the one thing that I will say is you can't at the beginning be unwilling to do it yourself.
Right.
Because none of it's easy, and you got to be willing to go out there and make the calls and book the cases, because no one's going to do it for you. You have to do it as you're growing, or else, you can't be a prima donna and be like, oh gosh, I need someone. You're just starting a practice. Oh, I need someone to do that. It's
right.
No, you can do it. It's work.
Or they try to be cheap about it and hire this one person, and they have to wear the 14 hats because you don't want to do it. But then you burn that person out and they leave, and now you're really screwed. And so there's such a balance between how to pay for time, because all we have is time. And it's like, do I do this myself? I mean, there's always in business, there's always that rule. If you're supposed to be making, let's say, 2,000 an hour, you should be doing nothing under 2,000 an hour tasks, you know? And if you look at it logically like that, you think, oh my God, why am I doing the 40 things that you do that you probably should be doing, you know, because you're cheap, because you don't want to pay somebody else to do it. But then again, on the other hand, then you also have to manage other people and hope that they're doing what you think they're doing. So that's why business is so important nowadays. You've got to figure out the business side of this. By the way, you ran right by that. What are you talking about? You have a hair club? You have a business hair? What was that about?
Yeah. So
very entrepreneurial of you.
It's been about 6 years in the making. I was approached by some friends who, some of them, so two partners, one is kind of a QVC alum, is a rep of some products and has done multiple marketing kind of things and product representation and brand representation at QVC, which is about 30, 45 minutes from my office. Mm-hmm. And one of his friends, her father, who passed away, was founded a company called Helsinki Hair Care years ago. Some people have heard about it. It was in like Walgreens and CVS and Rite Aid, and it was a big company. And interestingly, her dad had all of these patents and formulas for hair growth and hair care in shampoos and on all of these different ingredients. And when he passed away, it was just kind of sitting there. And interestingly, so the three of us got together and she's like, I would wish, we could take something with these ingredients that we call BioAdapt 8. It's 8 ingredients that we have patents on and the formulations. And why can't we like reformulate it and make like a shampoo that helps with hair growth and thickening your hair, and a conditioner and some serums? And that's what we did. And we started about 6 years ago. We are now sold in doctors' offices and direct to consumer on our website.
Under the name Helsinki?
No, it's called Therapy Hair Care. So it's like therapy, but it's therapy, mm-hmm. Therapy Hair Care, and it's been great. We're planning a bigger launch this year, but a lot of my friends in the facial plastics community and plastic surgery and derm community have now carry it in their office or direct patients to their website. It's very easy. We have serums. So just a serum once a day that matches your skin type. So there's a normal to dry, a normal to oily, and a sensitive. And people are like, they're like, no, I'm not talking about my skin. I'm talking about my scalp. I'm like, does your skin stop at your hairline? No, right? So if you have oily skin, guess what? You have oily scalp. If you have dry, flaky skin, you have dry scalp. And if you have sensitive skin, you probably have sensitive scalp. So we use these formulas actually, and we've done great clinical trials showing improved thickness in the hair, improved styling, improved volume, and also like, again, if I'm invested in the company and I'm part of it, I give it to my friends and say, listen, let me know what you think. My fellow, who is postpartum, was having a lot of shedding and postpartum hair loss. Mm-hmm. She uses this, and she just said the amount of shedding she has is so much less. She loves the way that her hair looks much thicker afterwards. So it's been really exciting, and it's just kind of like one of those fun things that I've done, and because it benefits my patients, really.
But wait a second, that's a whole other company and business that you're doing. So are you going B2B or B2C? Are you trying to sell it on QVC direct to consumer, or how are you marketing this thing?
So our marketing is, we do direct to consumer through our website. We offer it at our practice. Other doctors, it's right now only like my doctor friends who have kind of reached out to me, or who do, like, for example, when I see a patient who is getting PRP injection or PRF injections or hair transplant, we just roll it in to that package, right? So, you're interested in hair. We go through the whole thing, our non-surgical, surgical hair restoration. And then as part of it, we roll in. I want you to start on this. And if you like it, you can continue to buy it off of the website. Additionally, we have kind of, doctors don't necessarily like to take up shelf space in their office with these products. So we offer kind of affiliate programs where they give the patient our website and they have a special code. The patient enters it, and then basically they get 10% of every sale that the patient makes linked back to their office.
Gotcha.
And although we have huge connections at QVC is not the place where we want this, because the margins that they take are very steep, and it's just not right for our practice for our products at this point. Maybe in the future, but we'll see where it takes us. We're gonna kind of do a little bit bigger marketing launch in 2023.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason you do QVC is because it gets the attention of the big boys. Right. There's this woman who she's, I don't know, 25 years old. She wrote a book on it, and she had this concealer, facial concealer, and she was just trying to, get it out there. Anyway, she got on QVC. The margins were awful. However, L'Oreal ended up buying her company for $1 billion.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, really?
That would be nice. I will tell you where we're working right now is that some of the companies have, I have some relationships over the past 13 years with some very high ups at many kind of device and injectables companies, as well as skincare companies. We've had conversations. Many of them like it. We're talking about partnering with some of them, not to buy the company, but to potentially, shampoo, conditioner, and serum isn't like, there's not a lot of companies doing that out there. So it's kind of a new thing. And this year, couple of years, hair has been really exciting. And so we've been in talks with some companies. So who knows?
Good. Kudos to you, because if the plastic surgery doesn't work out.
I'm not giving that up.
Yeah. All right. And then my last question. Well, actually, do you have any words of wisdom for anybody who's, I'm not even just coming out in the world, but just being out there right now, all of the crazy going on? Any words of wisdom for how you're doing just fine?
Yeah. I mean, I think the key is to surround yourself by good people and be good to those good people. So, when I started out with 3 employees, like I had my office manager, I had an MA, and I had, really an office manager and MA. That was like, there was 3 of us. And then I hired a front desk person. And really we started out with 2 and then 3 employees for a little bit of time, because and just make sure you bring in good people and you interview them, and like that they're just not necessarily that they're great, like, you want them to be good workers, but they're good people. Like their hearts are in the right place, and they support you and believe what your mission is, and they believe in you that you're going to do a good job. And then from that, take care of those people. As the owner, as a boss, because, and that of those 3 people who started with me, I've operated on family members of theirs. I've operated on some of that. It's just like they believed in me, in what I could do, and they trusted, my results. They trusted what I was doing, and in exchange for that, I've always been very good to my staff and the people that I've surrounded myself with.
Kudos to you, because it'll save you so much time, money, and hassle and sleepless nights. How many, staff problems can just wreak havoc on your mental health. They're the ones that waking you up at 2 a.m. and you're like, really? I mean, why can't we all just get along?
I remember one thing, and I'll say, my father is an oral surgeon, and he's 74. He's very close to retirement, but I don't think he's not ready to retire yet. But he used to say, he's like, the surgery is the easy part. He's like, it's, this staff problem and this person calling out and this person's calling, having an issue with this person and, this thing's breaking. He's like, that's what gives you gray hair. And so I just remember him saying that, and it's true. Like we get to go to the operating room and we do what we do, and we love it, and we know how to do surgery. But the hard part is everything else behind the scenes.
I couldn't agree more. But now I don't want to forget, what is with the sneakers? You have sneakers everywhere. If you, everybody, well, by the way, what's your website? Because people should go to your website. You look on your website, you have this gorgeous office, and then it has like a sneaker, it has like a statue, and it has sneakers and art. And I thought, what's with the sneaker thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can probably see in the background there that I have like those are all like sneaker things from patients who have like, I love Air Jordans. I have a collection. Actually, I'm here in my home office, and I have a sneaker closet of hundreds of Air Jordans up here.
Really?
It's kind of been leaked a little bit on my Instagram, so it's out there. But yeah, I mean, I used to wear, prior to the pandemic, I used to wear a suit and tie every day to the office. And now I am scrubs, sneakers, and that's like kind of, I express myself with some cool sneakers. And now patients like call in, they like say, hey, what sneakers does he have on today? They love to see me wearing kind of like these cool, outrageous sneakers. And then they like buy me things like there was like a mosaic back there that was made of like one of my sneaker posts on Instagram that a patient made, and just some like cool things. So it's kind of become a little bit of my personality, quirky.
It's unusual, and at least you have space for it, because usually it's the woman that takes up all the closet space, and in your house it must be you.
Yeah, well, this is upstairs in my home office, so it's far away from my wife's closet.
Is she okay with your fetish?
Yeah, well, you know what? She used to be like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy," and now when like a person comes to our house and she's like giving them a tour, showing them around, that's her part. That's her favorite part. She loves to show them the sneaker closet.
That's crazy. Good for you. That's interesting. I did not see that in your personality. Usually when I see you at conferences, everyone has their game face on at conferences. That's why I love these podcasts. You're actually a real person. That's a really quirky. That's so funny. I saw it on Instagram. I didn't realize there were hundreds. You definitely look like a lot, but okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bloom. It has been a pleasure. I hope to see you at a meeting coming up soon, because now that we're back in action. And everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. If you would so kindly subscribe to Beauty and the Biz if you haven't already. And if you have any questions for Dr. Bloom, how would they get a hold of you?
I mean, the best way is, I told you, I do my own social media at Dr. Bloom, at Dr. J Bloom. Reach out to me on social media. My Instagram is probably the easiest way.
Gotcha. Okay. And then if you have any questions or feedback for me, I am at KatherineMaley.com, or you can certainly DM me also on Instagram at KatherineMaleyMBA. Thanks so much. We'll talk again soon. The fastest way to success is to model other successful surgeons who have what you want, but you can only see their results, not the path they took to get there. So you continue to jump from one thing to another, hoping to find something that will work for you too. But it rarely does. So try this shortcut instead. It's guaranteed to move you forward. I compiled my intellectual property to grow cosmetic revenues, everything I've gleaned over the years, into one playbook of the most successful practices and what they do to win. Go to cosmeticpracticevault.com and let's grow your cosmetic revenues.